None of this was recorded. Where are you going, buddy? You got to piss? Oh, thanks for all the information. For those of you in the balcony that didn't hear, he drank a tall can. And I think it's commendable that he held out this long, really. All right. So like I'm getting older. How you doing, Charlie? All right? It's going pretty well, right? So, you don't really. Well, a lot of you do know me actually. Because like I haven't done like what is that? I haven't done. Now what's happening? You all right? You just going back? All right. I guess it's the time. I just get weird. Like I was at the comedy store the other night and some woman fainted. And I didn't even fucking know it. Like I'm just on stage, not even doing that well. And some guy stage right goes, Marin. And I'm like, what? He's like, there's a woman having a seizure over there. I'm like, huh? And a woman went down. She wasn't having a seizure though, but she was just down, and people were around her, and so I used that old, the great hack line. Is there a doctor in the house? But there wasn't because no one wants to do that anymore. But it's not good. But no, it was kind of like it's hard to handle that kind of situation, because I'm over there. I'm like, is she all right? Should we get her outside? And I'm like, security, can you come help out? And there were a bunch of people around her, and she was coming to, and she's like, I'm okay. So like naturally, I said, welcome back. But they didn't laugh. People didn't laugh. It was a very good example of too soon. She was okay. She didn't leave. But it gets scary as you get older. I'm trying to be healthy, and I recently did a cleanse. Well, that's not exactly true. I got a colonoscopy. And there's a cleanse element to the colonoscopy. I don't know if I'd call it healthy. It's a fairly violent cleanse. When you have to get a colonoscopy, the doctor gives you a prescription for this stuff. You got to drink before you get one, and you take it to a pharmacist, and they usually say something like, "Don't go outside." And then you're like, "Why? What's going to happen?" Then for 2 days, you're like, "Oh my God, this is crazy. There's nothing left inside of me. It's just water now." But I felt great. I have a mild eating disorder, and I thought, this is amazing. Why aren't we doing this monthly? This seems amazing. I felt so light and fucking clean. Just fucking clean, man. And I was like, I had this revelation. I was like, that's it. I'm never putting anything bad in my body again. Ever. And I've been a vegan for like a year and a half. It's crazy. And I'll be honest with you, not great. It's not great. Kind of feel bloated and gassy all the time. I don't feel better mentally or physically, really. But I'm going to stick with it, Because when you're a vegan, you know something very real and very deeply, that you're better than other people. Because you are. You're better than other people. Ethically better than other people. Some people will be like, well, what are you using for protein? You got to eat some meat. And you got to say things like, is that you talking, or have you been brainwashed by big meat? I didn't really do it for ethical reasons. I did it to see if I could get my blood numbers down. But like now I'm in it, and I'm feeling kind of ethical about it. I mean, I don't miss meat really. I'm not craving it. And I'm 60. I think I've eaten all the meat that I need to eat. I'm 60 years old. How much meat can you fucking eat? Like, if you think about at a certain age how much meat you've eaten, it's probably a pretty good sized farm, And I think when we get to hell, which is where we're all going, that farm is going to be the first stop. And for a second, you're going to think like you're in heaven. You're going to be like, oh shit, they got a farm here. And then some little demon's going to just come up next to you and say, like, those are all the animals you ate when you were alive. And you're going to say something like, oh shit, that's crazy. And the demon's going to go, yeah, it's their turn. It's interesting that doesn't get like a huge laugh, but it gets a recognition. Like, oh shit, because I think there's enough Christians in every audience that at one point believed in hell, and that totally makes sense to them. They're like, I'm just gonna add that to the hell I already had going, because that's a pretty good... Let's talk about the colonoscopy. You up for it? There's like two more pretty big bits, but then I'll let you go. I'd had one before, you got to get them. And honestly, because this is the second one, I'm 60. And this is a public service announcement. Like, if you're a guy and you've been told you should get a colonoscopy, just fucking do it. Don't be a baby about your asshole. Seriously, just go in and get anally raped by a machine while you're sleeping by professionals to figure out whether or not you have cancer in your ass, you fucking babies. So the doctor who does a colonoscopy, I haven't seen it. I don't know what's going on with doctors now. And I guess it's different up here, but maybe not. I understand completely the healthcare system. I'd like to think it's great, but every time I say that, Canadians are like, no. But doctors in the States, because of money, I think have lost they don't really want to do it anymore. It's kind of fucked up. Well, it's not even enthusiasm. Like, a lot of docs got into it to make money as specialists, and now because of healthcare plans and because of different reasons, they can't make the money they once did. So they're just kind of fucking over it. Some of them have side hustles. It's crazy. Like, I went to a doctor like not long ago just to get test results, and I was like, so what's going on with the test results? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, we don't know everything. I'm like, right, well, what do I do? Like, I'll just give you some stuff and take it for a couple weeks, we'll see what happens. And I'm like, okay. I mean, what the fuck kind of attitude is that? Does he leave that office and just be like, I'm so over this shit, I can't answer these fucking questions anymore. I'm just gonna open up a hang gliding business in Tahoe with my brother. Anyway. So I'm driving to get the colonoscopy, and I'm on the phone with my buddy James, and I'm like, I'm going to get it. You're gonna pick me up, right? He's like, yeah. And he says, are you getting an endoscopy as well? And I'm like, I don't even know what that is, dude. He said, an endoscopy is where they go down your esophagus to check your stomach. And all I could think in that moment was like, with the same equipment? Yeah. But then I thought, well, I guess if they do the mouth first, it's okay. He goes, you should get an endoscopy. And I'm like, fine, I'll ask the guy. So I get to the place, and they don't even do them at hospitals. They do them at these surgery centers, which is just like these barracks. There's just like cots separated by curtains. And it's just like it's like crazy. The first time I went in, I was like, holy fuck, this seems like a fairly intimate procedure. This is where we're doing it? And I remember the first time I got a colonoscopy, I was laying on the bed, and they just put the IV of anesthetic in me. And I swear to God, a guy walked in and said, I got a lunch for Charlie. Is there a Charlie? And I'm thinking, like, how many people are gonna, So I get to the colonoscopy mill, and I'm with my doctor, and I'm like, he's like, you ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm as ready as I'll ever be. And I said, should I get an endoscopy as well? You do them here, right? Don't you? And he's like, we do them, but you weren't covered insurance-wise for that, so it's gonna be cash. And I'm like, well, should I get one? He's like, yeah, why not? So I'm like, all right, do it, And I swear to God, he turned to a nurse and said, change it to a double. We're doing a double. And ring the bell. It's all cash. Now, I don't know what happens up here. But, so I get it done. I'm waking up and my doc is like, he's one of these funnier kind of docs. Ass doctors are always kind of funny. Like if they feel they can do it, they'll yeah. But I wake up and I'm like, what's up? He's like, everything looks good. It looks clean. It looks good. And then he says, you want to see a vid of your colon? And I thought, like, yeah, like I'm not going to see it any other way, I don't think. So I said, oh, look at that thing. And he showed me, and while I was watching that, I couldn't help but think, like, you know, like, do you have this from another angle, like from the outside? Because just you kind of, you know, snaking that thing into my ass? Because I think that would be a much more exciting video. Because then I could be watching and be like, all right, that's you with the mask on, right? And that's the nurse. Who's the laughing guy in regular clothes? Well, you know, if I get a celebrity, I sell tickets, you know. But clearly you're not arena act. I had a lot of people in here for Burr's colonoscopy. You can watch the whole thing on my YouTube channel. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I didn't consent to that. You did in the paperwork in the lobby. God damn it. So now, I have to cue up a music cue for my last bit. Yeah, you know, a lot of times they ask me, like, you want us to just do it on the sound system? I'm like, no. I think this is more intimate than my friend. Okay, so here's the deal about, you know, just about health and whatever. It's like, and some of you know part of this story, that, you know, I do a pretty challenging hike a few days a week, and I've been very consistent with it. I've been doing it for years. And a few months ago, I got to the top of that hike, and I fucking passed out. I was by myself, and I went down, you know, and I blacked out. And I'm gonna look at it as a near-death experience. And I'll kind of explain to you why. So generally what I do is I hike up this mountain and I get to the top and I do 2 stretches. You know, I do this one, which I believe is called the old Asian lady squat. I believe it's really called that. It's not a racial thing, and I think if you go to any Chinatown, anywhere in the world, and there's a park there will be at least 4 87 to 103-year-old women sitting like this. So I go from this to very quickly into a full stretch, like that. And for 4 years, in the middle of this stretch, I thought, wow, it's amazing I haven't passed out. But you get it where you can, you know, I'm a recovering drug addict. Okay, so anyways, on the day of the event, I'm driving to the hike, and for some reason I'm thinking, you know, why is Taylor Swift so popular? And then my other part of my brain goes, well, why don't you just get the new record and check it out? I'm like, come on, it's not for me. I don't need to do that. No, you're an open-minded guy. Why don't you just listen to the new record? You're gonna go on a hike. I'm like, all right, man, maybe I will. So I download that Midnight's record. Now, most of you know that you know, a couple of years ago, it's been a while now, a few years ago, my girlfriend Lynn passed away, and like, you know, grief is a weird thing. It was very intense at the beginning, and then you just sort of live with it. It's always within you. And you kind of live with it, and it does change your life a little bit. But what's weird about grief is you don't know really when it's going to happen, right? When it's going to come out as you get, you know, move further away from the death. And some of you, everyone lives with grief to a certain degree. And you know, like there's certain things that trigger it that don't even make sense. You know, like some music, but you know, some other things, food, smells, whatever. Anyway, But certain songs will definitely, bring it up. And it's kind of nice because it'll kind of hold it for you a little bit. You can just kind of feel it along with the music. Anyway, so I'm hiking up the mountain and I'm listening to the new Taylor Swift record. And I'm thinking to myself, this is okay. It's not really for me. It's kind of poppy. It's for, I don't know who, but I can completely understand why she's made $1 billion. But I got it, and I was like, I understand it, I appreciate it. I don't think I'm going to listen to it again. And but I'm glad that I tried it. And then about halfway up the hill, this song comes on. Shh. Quiet.
No words appear before me in the aftermath.
It's already sad.
Salt streams out my eyes and into my ears.
She's crying, you guys. Hold on, wait to hear this
Every
line.
single thing I touch becomes sick with sadness.
What the fuck?
Because it's all over.
It's all over.
To see.
It's all out to sea. Oh, hold on, here come the four goodbyes.
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Oh my God! So now I'm crying. I'm hiking. I'm hiking up the hill, and I'm weeping. And I want to feel it, so I just put this on a loop. So I'm just crying up the whole hill. Because it felt good, and I felt like the song was carrying me, And then I get to the top of the mountain, and I'm like, oh man, and I squat. And then I stand up, and I'm like, whoa, fuck, and I go down. I go fucking out. And I don't know if you've ever blacked out before, but nothing is happening. You wouldn't even know the difference if you didn't wake up. It's like being dead. Has to be. But I woke up. And my face was on the ground. I was kind of bloody. There were rocks stuck to my face. She's going, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. And I kind of pull my shit together. And I have this moment where I'm like, oh my God. I'm not afraid of death anymore. I'm not afraid of death anymore. As long as it happens quickly, and I have time to put that song on. Thank you very much. Great crowd.